everyone, and welcome back to Adventures in Adulting with Dav. And I'm your host, Dav, and I'm so excited that you joined me for my second episode. On my vlog, we talk about the 4 F's, which is faith, food, finances, and fun. And it's not limited to those categories. That's just kind of capturing the essence of adulting. And so on today's episode, we're kind of talking about everything, all 4. I have the food portion where we're going to be doing all things Asian. And we're still calling that Dinner with Dav. The reason that we're calling it Dinner with Dav is because only one person voted in the comment, hey Athena, to say Dinner with Dav is the name of the segment. So if you like one of the other options that I listed in the last episode, please vote in the comment. Apart from that, I'm going to be talking about 8 things that I am doing in hopes of not losing my mind. This coronavirus, quarantine, social isolation, whatever you call it, is challenging. And so I'm just going to talk about some of the things that I have been doing literally in hopes of staying sane. Since this quarantine culinary journey has begun, I have become obsessed with Asian food. I always love to go get it. You know, I like Chinese food, Japanese food, Indian food, you name it, I'm into it. But I never really tried it before. It always seemed like this mysterious sort of, I don't know, village in culinary town that I wasn't really familiar with. But it has been so refreshing and so exciting to see how simple, how easy, and how healthy actually sometimes Asian dishes can be. And so today I am going to be doing some, and this one isn't necessarily Chinese, it's not necessarily Japanese, it's literally Asian inspired salmon, and I'm going to cook it in the oven to save us a little bit of calories. And then we're going to have some Asian noodles. Again, I'm not calling it lo mein because it's not. It's a spin on lo mein with what I have. So I've already rubbed my salmon down with some lemon, and then I've put together a marinade. We have soy sauce, which I have found is like the holy grail of Chinese food. Once you have soy sauce, you're golden. I've also included hoisin sauce. I bought this because I knew if I was going to make Chinese food, I had to make General Tso's chicken, which is my absolute favorite. And so I bought this for that, but it's really a really flavorful, useful sauce anyway. So I put it in, as well as honey. I don't know where I put my honey. There it is. Honey and sesame oil, and then I put in some crushed red pepper. That wasn't part of the recipe, and I've separated it from the other 2 because I live with 2 people who don't eat spicy food. I love spicy food. Bring me all of the spicy food. It also has some ground ginger as well as ground garlic. I didn't use fresh ginger or fresh garlic, mostly because I was being lazy, but oh well. And now I'm gonna put my salmon in a handy dandy Ziploc bag and marinate it for at least 30 minutes. So here we go. So while it's marinating, I'm gonna get started on my pasta. I don't have any lo mein or ramen, remotely Asian noodles. I have spaghetti. That's what's in my kitchen. Yeah, go to the food store today because it's the lockdown. So we're gonna make do with what we have. Okay, so we have my special spicy marinated salmon. I have my pan here. I'm gonna put some coconut oil on this. I'm gonna put the salmon skin side down, just because we want that bit to crisp up. I've preheated my oven. It's gonna broil for only 7 minutes. And while that's broiling, I'm gonna get started on tossing my noodles in my sauce, with my vegetables, and then we'll be eating. I think I'm gonna let them cook for about another minute. Alright guys, so here we have it. Here is my Asian inspired glazed broiled salmon with my pan fried Asian noodles. I am so excited. I had a lot of fun making this dish. It's really different. Cooking is really different from baking. With baking you have to be super precise, where with cooking you get to put a little bit of your own flair in it, taste it as you go along, see what it needs. I made this dish my own, and hopefully you can make it your own too. And I guess for now you just have to taste it and see how it is. Here. Oh my god, the sauce is like so amazing. And it's tender. Usually I guess guilty. I tend to kind of overcook my salmon, but this is perfect. The broil is perfect. The texture on the outside, the taste. Go home. Well, I guess you are home. Go ahead and try this while you're at home. And tune in next time on Dinner with Dav. So what do we think, Dad?
It's Hong Kong for weeks. Tastes good.
Does it taste Chinese or Asian?
Yeah, it does.
All right, and I made that with my Italian pasta, so there we go. All right, so I promised you I would share with you the list of things that I have been doing in hopes of not losing my mind, and I hope they inspire you to not lose your mind as well. So the first thing that I have been doing is journaling, and journaling is something that I've been doing for many, many years. And I do it for a number of reasons. One, it really helps to calm me. I'm a writer, so it's, I get to practice my writing skills, but I also get to articulate feelings that maybe I'm not ready to talk to somebody else about, but I write them out and I tell them to Jesus and my journal, and I feel better. It's also great because when I look back at my journal, I reference that and I realize, like, okay, I went through this thing and I came out better, and this is what I did, and this is what I learned, and this is how I've grown. So it's a good way to just document your journey, and in many cases to document God's faithfulness. The second thing is to take good care of you. And what that looks like for you is what that looks like for you. But 3 key things that I want you to remember. Number 1 is to exercise. It's cliche, but oh my gosh, does it help you feel better. When you exercise, you need to go hard. And I'm not saying go hard because you need to be jacked by the time this experience is over, but because going hard actually helps to exhaust you. And we have a lot of negative energy rolling around, and so you want to get rid of as much of that negative energy as possible. Something very weird, this ritual that I've been doing, there's a hill by my house, and so I've been running up the hill listening to Never Say Never by Justin Bieber and Jaden Smith. I don't know why, but it's become like the anthem of this experience. Literally, I'm like, I will never say never, never say never. Anyway. The second thing is to eat well. Now, I mean, in this time, we're pretty emotional. We're eating what we can. We're eating what we have. But as much as possible, eat well. The problem is when you are emotionally compromised and down, it's even harder to eat right. That's one of those things. And so one thing that I've been doing is making smoothies. And I have smoothie bags, like with greens and berries and things like that, just so I can dump it in the blender whenever I need to. If I make myself a smoothie and have that, minutes later, I'm feeling better. The third thing is to rest and being really intentional about resting. Everybody's schedule is a little thrown. Nobody's going to work, or not a lot of people are going to work, but try to maintain your sleep schedule as much as possible. Number 3, don't judge your emotions. There's a lot of emotions going on right now. And I had a professor in college, I really, really admired him. His name was Dr. Feller. I minored in psychology, and I think he was head of the department. If he wasn't, he should have been head of the department because he was brilliant. But anyway, he always said, emotions are neither good nor bad. They were given to us by God for a purpose. So we have to stop looking at our emotions as either good, like happiness is good, sadness is bad. Like, no, these are signals that are indicating what we need to adjust. Some people might say, oh, well, if sadness or pain, let's say pain is a bad thing. But if you translate that into your body, like pleasure is a good thing, pain is a bad thing, that means hitting cocaine is a good thing just because it's pleasurable. And it also means that being able to feel fire when it burns you is a bad thing. But pain, just like if you lay your hand on a fire and you feel pain, that's a signal that your hand needs to move. In the same way, emotionally, a lot of the things that are going on are signals as to what needs to happen. And don't judge yourself for how you feel. This is a really confusing, emotional time. Like, you get to feel whatever you feel. Sometimes I think as Christians, we feel like, okay, being optimistic is equivalent to being in denial about how we feel, and that's just not the case. Like, you can be honest about how you're feeling, and being honest about how you're feeling is really one of the only ways that you're going to be able to move past it. The next thing is to practice boundaries. And when I say practicing boundaries, I don't just mean physical boundaries or things like that. I mean practicing boundaries in terms of your schedule specifically. A lot of us are still working from home, and the thing about working from home, what's so great is you can be flexible. But on the other hand, sometimes you'll be like, okay, I'm home, I'm working from home, and you get up at 6:30 and you start answering emails. I would caution you from that. I think you should have boundaries in terms of, okay, I am working from home, but I only do work from 8 to 5, and I'm only taking work calls from 8 to 8, and everybody else will deal with me in the morning. You're actually training your brain to be like, okay, in this space, we're in a work zone, and then after that, we're resting, we're enjoying life, we're having fun. Also, physically speaking, you don't want to work in your bedroom, believe it or not, because your brain associates activities with spaces. So if you're sitting in your bed all day working, and then when it's time to go to sleep and you're confused about why work thoughts are running through your head, it's because you have trained your brain to think of your bed as a workspace. So you have to just train yourself to work in specific spaces and within a specific time frame. The third seat on the island in my kitchen is my official workspace. I chose it because of the lighting, also the proximity to the refrigerator. The next thing is to do your thing, whatever your thing is. And when I say that, I mean every one of us was born with talents and capacity, and all of us is different. You know, maybe you're really good at making jewelry, maybe you're really good at, I don't know, cutting hair, doing nails, whatever the thing that you do is, spend at least 10 minutes a day doing it. That's something that I learned in a master class with Shonda Rhimes, and I'm really grateful that I learned it, because basically she was like, if you want to be a writer, if you call yourself a writer, you need to be writing for at least 10 minutes a day. And so just translating that to all of life, something that my late pastor always would say is that you go to your job all day and then you come home and do your work. So this is a great time to focus on finding your work and perfecting it. The next thing is to get inspired and feed your soul. So like I mentioned, I've been watching masterclass. I've also been listening to sermons, and I've been doing that pretty much as I go about my day. If I'm washing the dishes, whatever the case is, I'm listening to something that inspires me. These are dark, heavy, emotional times. It's really important that you are inspired. Next thing is to go outside. Please, please, please go outside. It's good for your body. It's good for your soul. It's good for your mind. Spending at least 10 minutes a day outside. And I really don't care what your house looks like. I don't care if you don't have a yard. I've been sitting in a folding chair in a tiny little space among the bush in my yard, and that has been my space where I read or just process. If you have to sit outside and watch the cars go by on your front porch, I mean, there are not a lot of cars going by. Watch the pit, whatever it is that you are watching, do that. Be outside, look at the trees, look at the sky, reflect on all that God has given us. Finally, take it one day at a time. This is a lot. A lot is coming at us really fast. It's a lot of change, a lot of disappointment, a lot of frustration, a lot of uncertainty. And even though I've said all of these great things, you know, like some days I wake up and I'm like, okay, I'm going to cook like 5 things, and I'm going to wash 4 loads of laundry, and I'm going to categorize these things, and I'm going to write. And then other days I wake up and then I immediately go back into my bed and watch Netflix for 6 hours. What? Everybody is doing the best that they can, and that's all that you can do. Don't judge yourself. If you have a bad day, forgive yourself and move on. I've given myself a 1 meltdown per week privilege. Just take each day, minute to minute, hour to hour, 1 day at a time, and we will get through this. Feel free to leave a comment talking about what you've been doing in hopes of not losing your mind. I just want to say thank you again for watching Adventures in Adulting with Dav. We have some really exciting crafts coming up next week, so hope you tune in, and I don't know, thanks for watching. Never you knock me down, I'll